So I just want to introduce myself. I am Brittany. I am the Director of Team Connection and Engagement here at Achieving True Self. So welcome to Achieving True Self Center of Achievement. I wanted to welcome you all to our first annual and one of many Autism Awareness and Acceptance Night. We are excited to welcome you all here with us. If you have not yet had an opportunity to tour the center, we will be offering tours later on this evening after our featured speakers. A special thank you to Westmoreland Performing Arts, Big Dreamers Broadway Squad for their performance this evening. Big round of applause. Also, thank you to our vendors, Beacon Health Options and Wesley Family Services. Thank you. So let's get started with tonight's agenda. I am proud to introduce to you Rick Murray, our CEO and founder, for some opening remarks. Rick.
Good evening. As Brittany said, I'm Rick Murray. I'm the founder and CEO of Achieving True Self. I'm so proud and honored to welcome you to our first annual Autism Awareness and Acceptance Night here within Inspiration Hall at the Center for Achievement. The idea behind Inspiration Hall is that we will highlight individuals who have made an impact, dare I say change the world, just by being who they are. They inspire us to become better versions of ourselves. I'd like to start by reviewing our mission statement. Our mission statement at Achieving True Self is at the core of everything we do, every decision we make, every consideration related to new services, where we may expand to, everything we do is driven by our mission. Achieving True Self is passionately cultivating and inspiring growth through the delivery of evidence-based treatment to assist individuals, families, organizations, and their surrounding communities to achieve their self-defined goals. Through a supportive organizational culture focused on developing and retaining team members, we are determined to change the world by instilling hope and helping each person whose life we touch achieve their truest self. I've been blessed to be inspired by countless individuals, families, and team members throughout my professional career. But there is one individual who changed it all for me. Those of you that know me well know I have referred to this individual more times than either of us could ever count. Yet it was only just a few years ago that his mother shared that she would love for me to refer to him by his name. Therefore, tonight, you will all hear about Sean Best, who along with his mother Peggy, forever changed my life. Sean and Peggy inspired me in ways that ultimately led to the Center for Achievement, where we are all sitting this evening. You see, it was Sean who introduced me to the world of autism back in 1995 when I was a high school student right here within Norwin School District. There's Sean as a baby and his mom, Peggy, for reference. So back then, again, we're talking about 1995, the prevalence of autism was estimated to be 1 in 500 children would be diagnosed somewhere on the autism spectrum. In the late 90s, I began training staff on how to support persons with autism. I said back then, if you do not know someone personally diagnosed with autism, with the rates continuing to skyrocket, you soon will. The prevalence continued to increase to 3 in 500 by the year 2003. That is the year in which my own words came back to haunt me, as it was the year that my first of 2 nephews I have that are diagnosed on the autism spectrum would receive his diagnosis. Now here we are in the year 2022. The most recent information we have on prevalence is actually from 2018 and was reported last year by the CDC, who reported that approximately 1 in 44 children in the United States are diagnosed with an autism spectrum disorder. A lot has changed since I started working within this field. That is, in fact, me. That's what I mean. A lot has changed. I'm not talking about prevalence. I mean, geez, who is that guy? Several decades ago, our focus was on helping folks just understand autism itself, that it existed, and what autism was. We are now in a place where so many people have loved and known people with autism that we now not only talk about awareness, but also about acceptance, and more appropriately, the celebration of individuals with autism. Speaking of celebration, allow me to go back in time again to reflect on my time with Sean. I did not feel worthy back then, and to this day, despite decades of experience and a few credentials along the way, I'm still unsure of whether or not I am worthy to provide the type of support and expertise that someone like Sean deserves. Peggy, his mother, was and remains a true champion. She was a parent who at the time was willing to do anything and everything to make his life better. Peggy is one of the pioneers for services within our community. While Peggy and Sean were my first inspirations, there have been countless examples of inspiration that I experience each and every day. Back in those initial days that I was exposed to autism, up through and including today, I watched parents and caregivers struggle to sort through loads of information, sort through fact from fiction. They endured judgment, bullying, and even abuse, to be honest, from others in the community. People judge treatment choices and/or approaches, some of whom have never once ever been touched by autism in any way personally. At the Center for Achievement at Achieving True Self, as our mission states, we are determined to change the world for people like Sean who deserve nothing but the very best treatment and support that will enable them to live their best and happiest lives. Sean is a very happy young man. He is very active. He enjoys life to the fullest. There he is again. That's where it all began for me. A young child who had severe behaviors, enormous safety concerns from day one. I was brought into Sean's life as I've been brought into other lives of many individuals through the years. Sean was one of those kids that some people were honestly afraid to work with. There were people that were afraid to give him a chance. There were people that gave up on him before they even met him. Sean, though, is one of the good people in this world. Sean could read someone, and whether or not they saw him for who he was and understood what he could be, within 10 to 15 seconds. I saw the revolving door at times of team members that would come through. It took no time for Sean to be able to sort out who was and was not worthy of supporting him. To wrap up my thoughts before we move on with tonight's agenda, I'd like to state that I believe we cannot have acceptance without awareness. I know plenty of well-intentioned people who accepted their loved ones with autism, but did not fully understand their challenges. We believe that by continuing to work together, we can continue to heighten awareness and understanding, build more inclusive opportunities, and therefore create a better and more accepting world. I am honored to introduce you all to Ms. Tiffany Shafer, our Director of Talent, Development, and Learning at Achieving True Self. Tiffany and our special guest, Javen, will talk about today's ABA and how a center-based model can support someone on their journey to becoming their true self. Tiffany's first introduction to the field, or autism, was when her own brother was diagnosed. But she professionally began in the field as a special education teacher in pre-K through grade 6, holding a Maryland Advanced Professional Teaching Certificate in Special Education, Early Childhood Education, and Elementary Education. After 9 years of teaching within the public school systems across the state of Maryland, Tiffany transitioned into a role at the Kennedy Krieger Institute while pursuing her BCBA certification. Tiffany was one of our first BCBAs at ATS. She came to us in July of 2017 as a BCBA and has served clients across multiple counties throughout the state of Maryland. Given her natural talent and abilities, it's no surprise that she was promoted to the role of Training Professional Development Coordinator in March of 2019 and to the Director of Talent Development and Learning in November of 2021. In these roles, Tiffany's passion for ensuring high-quality service is applied in her work as the company's ACE coordinator through the Behavior Analyst Certification Board, supporting RBT coordination, trainings for onboarding, and leading the Training and Professional Development Committee, which exists to identify the needs for training and professional development for all of our team members here at ATS. Tiffany lives with her beloved dog, Oreo, in Frederick, Maryland. Please help me welcome Tiffany Shafer, our Director of Talent Development and Learning, a true genius and friend.
Rick has preceded me a little bit with my first slide about myself, but thank you so much for that lovely introduction. And tonight I'm going to be talking about demonstrating how center-based ABA treatment aligns with today's ABA. So a little bit about me, as Rick said, I'm a former special education teacher. I'm currently a board-certified behavior analyst. Most importantly, I am the sister and legal guardian for my 24-year-old brother, Zach, who is significantly impacted by autism. And this is Zach. This is one of my favorite pictures because it was his graduation day, and I personally did not think that he was going to understand what was going on at all, but he was so proud all day, carrying his certificate around, and was super pumped. So it's one of my favorite pictures of him. So, ABA has been around for quite a few decades now, but when it first started, there were some unfortunate growing pains related to the service. And so because of that, sometimes ABA still has a little bit of a stigma. And some of those concerns relate to things like mass trial DTT, where children would sit at a table and be repetitively drilled, what is this, apple? What is this, apple? What is this, apple, right? And people didn't like that because they felt like, what is this really teaching them, right? Also, overuse of punishment procedures. It's hard to see your loved ones endure punishment procedures. It's not fun. It's not anything anybody likes. Sometimes also people would be targeting annoying behaviors, which adults with autism have expressed they felt like that made them have to change who they were instead of being accepted for who they were. Also, issues with lack of generalization of skills. Again, with that mass trial DTT, you're learning something in a really controlled environment, and that's not always going to be able to be implemented and utilized by that individual outside of that environment. And also a laser focus on behavior reduction. Now, my brother has some pretty significant self-injurious behaviors, so I would definitely understand that there does need to be a focus on reducing those behaviors, but we always need to make sure that we're thinking about more than just that. So making sure that we are focusing, previously there was a bigger focus on those behaviors not happening anymore, and so that's one of the concerns as well from our old ABA. But when we think about today's ABA, one of the things that I thought would be nice to do would be to hear from someone who has autism and is currently receiving ABA services. So I am going to introduce Javen, and he was going to be with us tonight, but unfortunately wasn't able to, so thanks to the magic of technology, he's going to join us through Google Meet. So I will ask you to give me a second to get that pulled up, and we will talk to Javen about his experience as someone who has autism and is receiving ABA therapy. Fingers crossed. There he is! Okay. All right, Javen, are you ready for to talk with us about your experience receiving ABA services?
Sure thing.
All right, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
All right. Hey guys, my name is Javen. I am 15 years old and I have autism. I was born and raised in Maryland, and my main interests are like books and movies and video games.
Awesome. Can you please tell us what is one of your favorite things to do?
I like to go out into my backyard and walk around with my own thoughts. It's called brain wandering.
Did you make that name up or did somebody tell you that name?
I actually made that up.
That's awesome.
A fun fact for you guys.
Oh yeah?
The founder of Microsoft, Bill Gates, he actually brain wanders too. Not sure if he calls it that, but he does it.
That's amazing. So Javen, how long have you been receiving ABA services?
About 4 years.
And what did you think when you started getting ABA services?
Well, I was kind of nervous and confused because a bunch of strangers walking into my house and asking me questions. I think you guys would feel the same
Probably.
if you were in that situation too.
So who was Javen 4 years ago? What were your interests back then?
Basically Plants vs. Zombies and Pokemon.
Okay. Do you think ABA has changed you?
Changed me. Not in a bad way, no. I have learned new skills from ABA.
What has ABA helped you to learn?
What new things, you said?
Yeah, what has ABA helped you to learn?
I've learned to do numerous different chores, such as doing laundry, dishes, and cooking, taking care of the house. I've also been learning safety skills, like calling 911, and getting a job, those things.
Awesome.
And I've also learned to grow more comfortable with the people I work with.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Javen, I would like to know, do you feel that you are accepted for who you are by the people who have worked with you for your ABA services?
Yes, I do. They would actually ask me about my interests sometimes. Sometimes they would even incorporate them into activities like this.
Oh, what is that?
This token board is for each time I actually remember. So this is for each time I remember what happened in like an episode that we watch of a show.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
Yeah, that's what that was for.
Overall, what would you say if someone asked you what your thoughts are about ABA in general?
I really like the people I worked with. You, Tiffany, Savannah, and Jen. I consider them to be great friends. They play a big part in my life and helped me become more independent and more comfortable with the people around me.
That's so awesome. Thank you so much for sharing with us tonight, Javen.
Mm-hmm. It's been a big pleasure.
All right, we'll talk to you soon, buddy.
Good job, David.
All right, then.
Bye, David. So, hopefully you guys got I know, right? I've practiced with him, so that's why I'm not great, because I knew I would. So, how has ABA changed, right? Since from before when we had all these concerns and, the purpose was still in the right place, right? They were just still wanting to help these people who had this disability be able to live a better life. And I think that a big part of what has changed has just been time and the advancement in the research and learning more about how to better implement these strategies in a way that does honor the individual. So a couple of reasons a couple of ways that's come about. For one thing, the Behavior Analyst Certification Board, who certifies all of us BCBAs, the RBTs that work one-on-one with the clients, as well as BCABAs who work kind of in between RBTs and BCBAs to help support families and clients, has an ethical code that we are required to follow. And so we have a responsibility as a professional where we are practicing within our scope of competence. We have a responsibility to the practice where we are providing effective treatment. We are involving clients and stakeholders, including when setting goals. For example, asking Javen what he wants to work on. We prioritize positive reinforcement procedures. And we strive to select interventions that will focus on always having a minimum risk of harm to the client and the stakeholder. So we want to make them be able to make progress and do everything that they can, but we want to do it in a positive, supportive way. We also have a responsibility to our clients and stakeholders. We always must act in the best interest of our clients. And we must take appropriate steps to support our clients' rights, maximize the benefits of the services that they receive, and to do no harm. There are several peer-reviewed journals that are dedicated to the publication of research related to the implementation of behavior analytic-based interventions. And as I said, in the last 20 to 30 years, the studies have supported the development of improved procedures, which have addressed concerns related to old ABA. So when we're working on skill acquisition now, we've learned that it's much more effective to teach skills in natural environment. That's gonna support better generalization and allow clients to be able to learn in a way that doesn't feel intrusive. We also have used various assessments in order to identify the purpose or the function of the behavior so that we're able to help support reduction of that problem behavior, especially if it's dangerous or self-injurious. But we include the implementation of a replacement behavior. So we're not just saying, hey, don't do that anymore. We're saying, hey, instead of doing this, try this. Additionally, there's been a lot of research outside of the application of ABA in autism into applying ABA in other settings, which I think has really helped show that ABA isn't just some people that are wanting to fix people with autism or change people with autism. It's really something that can be used in a wide variety of applications and can help better individuals in all walks of life, regardless of abilities or disabilities or needs. So in general, benefits of ABA, as we've talked about, there's a large evidence base, so a research basis for the interventions. It's highly individualized. We use assessments, skills assessments, functional behavior assessments. We target behaviors for reduction as well as skills for acquisition, so we're not focusing just one or the other, we're always focusing on both. And our science is really based on data collection. So we are doing ongoing collection of data for all programming. We are using that data to make decisions, so that way we know if an intervention is effective. Great, let's keep doing it. If it's not, hey, let's see what's going wrong. Let's make it better. And it supports the ability to objectively determine effectiveness, not kind of be like, I don't know, this doesn't seem to be working. Well, it's just improving slowly, so maybe we can make a little tweak and see if we can make it a little bit better without throwing it all away. In center-based ABA treatment, it continues to be based on the individualized client treatment plan and objectives. So we, in the center, would continue to implement client-specific intervention protocols. We would continue to provide opportunities to learn new skills. The center provides a structured environment with minimal distractions, which can sometimes be beneficial for our clients. We provide opportunities to engage in social interactions with other children, which, depending on the situation at home, may or may not be an option, especially if you're an only child. There's no peers around to play with. And we provide opportunity for generalization across staff, across people. Center-based ABA treatment can also support school readiness. So we can work on completing non-preferred tasks without engaging in maladaptive behaviors. We can work on self-help skills, such as toileting, washing hands, zippering your jacket, all sorts of things there. And we also can work on completing tasks while seated at a table. While in general, we know that children learning in the natural environment are going to be able to generalize those skills better, we do also know that in school you have to sit at the table, you have to sit at your desk. So those are skills that are important to the success of our clients, and so we recognize that, and we do also recognize the need to support their ability to do that successfully. And finally, following a schedule. In school, you have to be able to follow the schedule. Your schedule might be a little bit different if you have some accommodations that are going on, but we want to help support them in their being successful in their school environment. Research supports center-based services in behavior analysis. This graph might look really wonky, but basically what it's saying is that it's comparing acquisition rates of center-based services as compared to home-based services. And the findings of this study showed that there were higher rates of learning objectives that were mastered during center-based services. And on average, individuals achieved 100% more, I'm going to say that again, 100% more learning per hour during center-based services as related to home-based services. So there really is a strong research basis to show that, especially for our learners who have a bigger skill gap that they may need to address, center-based services are really, really effective for increasing that acquisition rate. I included a sample 3-hour one-to-one ABA session. It's very similar to what a home-based session looks like with a couple little modifications. So you have your arrival, which would be very similar to a home-based session, ADLs, pairing, preference assessment, skill acquisition. What we're able to add in a center is that social skills block where we have those other peers that are able to help support. ABA or ADLs again, skill acquisition block, and departure. So all of these would happen within the center where we have some additional environmental control to help support the focus being on that skill acquisition, but we do also have those opportunities where there are other peers to interact with. How do center-based services correspond with today's ABA? Center-based services have a focus on socially significant behaviors. Again, we're not just saying like, oh, we don't like it when you do that hand flapping thing. We're really looking at what do we need to do to help you be successful? What might be dangerous that you could hurt yourself or someone? What might be interfering with your ability to learn what you need to learn in school or in the community? Addressing skill acquisition and behavior reduction needs. Again, we're going to look at both of those, not just one. We would continue to use empirically based, data-driven intervention procedures. And as I said, the research shows that increased rate of acquisition that's seen with center-based services. And so with that, I would like to introduce Cathy Hughes, our Director of Family Support and Community Engagement, who will be talking about the continuum of care that we offer at ATS and our vision for the community. Oh, were you supposed to do that? Sorry.
I'm going to hijack because I wanted to share a few words about Cathy. One, talk about inspiration. Tiffany and Javin have done some really remarkable work together. And I love that this is something that when he heard she was presenting, he wanted to join in and be part of it. I think that's a real testament of him knowing and feeling honored that we appreciate who he is. So it was a great discussion with Javin tonight. Before I introduce my dear friend, Miss Kathy, there's a lot that has gone into the development of the Center for Achievement here, and it's been inspired by many folks along the way, but I also want to be honest, like, it's not easy financially to open up a center like this, and we've been really blessed to have a lot of community support, but I have to tell you, the support of our county commissioners in making this happen is truly remarkable. As I share across the 3 states that we serve, how Westmoreland County Commissioners have jumped in and helped support, particularly the development of the Center for Independence itself. Folks are literally in awe of the support and willingness to step outside of the box and listen. Our 3 county commissioners, Commissioner Thrasher, Commissioner Chu, and Commissioner Curtis, have all been here. They've all collaborated with us. Commissioner Curtis is not someone that's really looking for recognition publicly, but I think that's a big deal that here he is right in the middle, showed up tonight. Here supporting our community. We truly can't thank you enough. We are blessed in Westmoreland County with the commissioners that we have, as well as what I like to refer to as the trifecta of excellence with our county behavioral health administration led by Sarah Singer. We also have Sherry Throp and Renee, who are just amazing individuals that are very much committed to changing the world by creating opportunities for folks to receive not only treatment, but better treatment with better outcomes. And when outcomes are not achieved, they're at the table figuring out how we can look at this and approach it differently. And that's been a really exciting kind of transition to see within the county. So thank you again. Now for Miss Kathy. Catherine is our Director of Family Support and Community Engagement. She's going to wrap up our speaking agenda this evening by sharing more about our continuum of care and what is to come for Achieving True Self. I'm an emotional person. I'm very passionate about what we do. And Kathy's been the core of that for so long. She very much has been part of the evolution of ATS. When we look at our mission, vision, values, and beliefs, that was the product of Kathy and I spending more hours than you could ever imagine going back and forth to ensure that the things that mattered most to us were reflected and could guide an organization that we didn't know what the end goal is. You know, we've worked for larger providers. Size has never been a goal of ATS. We want to feel good about what we do every day. We literally want to change the world. And we want to do so by making sure that we have the best team members. We know the best team members only happen when they're happy and they're well taken care of. And, you know, Kathy's always done a beautiful job pulling together words, but I think when we look at where we are and her foresight in the beginning with helping us develop what has guided everything at ATS, it's just a testament to who she is. She's an amazing, passionate advocate. She's an innovative storyteller. She's a community strategist. For 20 years, she has provided comprehensive support and passionate advocacy to individuals, self-advocates, their families, and surrounding natural supports throughout their communities. Kathy appropriately, and boy does she live up to this, considers herself a servant leader, one who cultivates, develops and maintains relationships with grace and grit in order to create, enhance, and promote services and programs that transform lives and promote services and programs that truly transforms lives. On a personal level, her calling, not a career, she's always quick to clarify that, always brings her to give back to what has so graciously been given to her family, including her young adult son with autism. She manages a blog, The Caffeinated Advocate, and has been an author and/or editor of almost 20 books. 20 books. That's amazing. Kathy's the first point of contact for our families at the time of intake. She manages our family support efforts, community outreach, and branding at Achieving True Self. Kathy lives in Allegheny County with Mama Betty, who is the name the ATS family has given Kathy's mom. She's like all of our moms. Kathy also lives with her son Christian and many, oh my gosh, so many pets. Please welcome Catherine Hughes.
So I'm going to be wrapping up the evening by sharing a little bit more about our continuum of care at ATS and what we're doing now, what we're going to be doing, and then truly what our vision for the future is. And then at the time, at the end, I'll allow time for questions, for any questions or comments that you have. And then we'll end the evening with center tours. I know many of you have said you'd love to see the center. You haven't been here before. So we will be giving tours at the end of the evening as well. So on now to the continuum of care. So obviously, we offer ABA services because that is exactly what we talked about earlier in Tiffany's segment. So we offer opportunities for individuals to receive services in a variety of settings. So it could be here at our Center for Achievement. It could be in their homes. It could be in daycares. It could be in schools. Wherever we find the clinical need is to support your loved ones. Family involvement, as many of you know who are families yourselves, it's a vital component to the treatment or support plan. So we need everybody involved. Again, speaking as a parent myself, Rick mentioned my son Christian, he's 24. Back when he was diagnosed, and there's a whole story there that I won't get into now, but we went through a pretty tragic event to get my son's diagnosis. And, we started with services in 2001 and, moved forward with, an incredible village of people. But, at the top of that chain was me, my family members, and we really had to be a part of everything. Every treatment plan, every appointment, it took us being leaders and being a voice for Christian until he was fortunately able to become his own voice for himself. All of you who are here, whether you're a staff, an individual, a family member, your voice matters here. So we love feedback. We say that all the time. So if there's something you see and you have an idea, we want to hear it. So as you're, closing tonight, or you're walking through, you're getting your tour, if you have an idea, we want you to tell us because we really want you to be a part of the development of the Center for Achievement. So aside from ABA and intensive behavioral health services, I'm going to share a little bit more about what we do here at ATS. So we are expanding our home and community services in Maryland, Pennsylvania. We're also in Virginia. We are in West Virginia and soon to be New Jersey. So we are really growing here at ATS. We've come a long way in 6 years. So additional center-based programs I'm going to talk to you about briefly tonight. Parent-child interaction therapy, some of you may have heard of that line of care. Occupational therapy, speech therapy, psychological and assessment services, vocational services, IDA waiver services, and then our training and community outreach opportunities. Has anyone in here heard of parent-child interaction therapy? Raise your hand, or if you have been engaged in it. Rick, put your hand down. Rick doesn't count. So for those who haven't heard of it, I'll explain a little bit about what PCIT is. So it's an evidence-based treatment program for children 2 to approximately 7 years of age. Help me out here, Rick. 6 years, 10 months?
Yes, and it's primarily related to the physical size of the child than anything else, but that is what research is saying.
Gotcha. See, I had that number in mind. So as Rick was just saying, some of you couldn't hear him because the mic isn't on him right now, but it's for children experiencing behavioral or emotional challenges, typically not used for children with autism, but it is not unheard of either. It is one of the most researched, very scientifically successful parent training programs worldwide. It's a very empowering treatment model. The goal is to improve the quality of the parent and child relationship, helping caregivers adapt what we would call an authoritative parenting style, and that incorporates a child's need of warmth, psychological autonomy, and limit setting to achieve optimal outcomes. PCIT actually has 2 phases to it. The first one is child-directed interaction, where parents develop those child-centered interaction skills, and that enhances their parent and child relationship together. The parent-directed interaction phase, which is PDI, is where caregivers learn additional behavior management skills. So again, that's done in 2 phases. So that is coming soon to ATS. There are some programs at ATS, as I'll be explaining. There's, some credentialing we're working through and some things like that. So it's coming soon, hopefully. But that is one of the offerings we will have here at the Center for Achievement. And you will actually see, if you're on a center tour, we'll show you that room and how it's set up. So the next, I'm pretty sure everyone in this room has heard of, is occupational therapy. So, of course, they work with people who have disabilities and injury or some type of illness to help with a number of interventions, developing fine or gross motor skills, improving cognition, assist with utilizing language skills, sometimes in collaboration with speech therapy, which I will get to in a few moments, and more. So OT, we're finishing through the credentialing process, and we're actually interviewing OTs now. So we're hoping to have that soon offered here at the center. Where's my girl Lauren at? I don't see. There's Lauren. Lauren, everyone, is our speech therapist. Not to call you out and make you turn red, but I had to point you out. So Lauren is our speech therapist. She is growing her caseload by the day. For those who aren't as familiar with what exactly a speech therapist does, they provide one-on-one therapy, of course. They can utilize the principles and methodology of ABA. It benefits individuals across the lifespan. So at ATS, we are able to offer speech therapy for children, also for adults. So we are able to do both. They provide family training, and they offer support, and they advocate for consumers and their families. And you can see on the right here the therapy targets. They can work on articulation, they work on oral motor disorders, receptive and expressive language skills, pragmatic, fluency, voice. They may use an AAC device. They work through cognition. Also, feeding and swallowing is something we're looking to offer at the Center for Achievement once we have an occupational therapist too. Lauren is very, 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 very passionate about feeding and swallowing therapy. So we are definitely hoping once we have OT up and running that we'll be able to get that in practice here as well at the center. And then our psychological and assessment services, we actually offer written orders. For those who have IBHS services currently or ABA, then you're familiar with the term written order. Actually at ATS, Gina, who is in the back, I'm gonna call her out too, say hi. Gina actually does our written orders here at Achieving True Self. We unfortunately do not offer those initial diagnostic evaluations yet, but we are interviewing psychologists, so that is something that eventually we will offer here at the center, just not quite yet, but we can direct you to people who can do that. So either our intake team, one of them's in the back, hi Susie, we can provide you a list, or a member of my family support team can provide a list of evaluators that can help someone get to that initial evaluation, and we help walk you through those steps too. Very proud to be a part of a team where we actually help people in the community, where if we're not the right answer yet, we will try to lead you to who can. We're not just going to answer the phone and say, sorry, we're full, or sorry, we don't do this. We're at least going to try to get you to the right place, because we know so many on my team are actually parents themselves. We know, we've been there, so we don't want other people to call in, sorry, we can't help you, click. That's not what we do here, so we will help point people in the right direction. And then vocational and employment services. Being the parent of a 24-year-old, I am so excited that we're doing this. And I can't say this enough. When I'm giving tours here at ATS, I always say I wish that Christian would have had something like this when he was younger, something that would have grown with him, and he would have had all of that extra support through the years. But I'm proud we're doing it now. So with the vocational employment services, we're connecting the needs of a business with the talents and the strengths of our clients. So let me also throw this in there. So when people ask me, where does someone with autism go to school? Where should someone with autism live? And where should someone with autism work? Anyone have any idea what I say?
Where everyone else does.
Thank you, and thank you. They are meant to do more than those couple of jobs that we've thought of through the years, right? They do the coffee cart. They might clean the tables, maybe shredding some paper. And not that there's anything wrong with that if that's what they want to do. But if that's not what they want and that's not what makes them happy, that's not what they should be doing. And we all know, living in the times that we are, there's a huge workforce gap, huge. Here's how we're gonna fix it. right? There's a whole pool of people that want to work that have been bypassed for way too long. Super passionate about this, if you couldn't tell. So we facilitate a number of strategies to support our young men and women who are searching for employment. So we use productivity tracking tools. We use individualized assessments for employment. We use technology, mindful planning, a lot of one-on-one mentoring and coaching, such as in our Career Center, which we'll show you during the tours later. And we also offer training for employers. So we're so excited. Next week, we're going to the Westmoreland Food Bank. We're training all of their staff to help them become more disability-friendly, sensory-friendly. So excited to be working with them. So that's something we have available. Again, with our county, we have this grant to provide a number of trainings in the community. So if you work for an employer, an employer that's looking for training so they can open the doors to welcome people with disabilities, give us a call, give me a call, and we'd be happy to connect and offer training. And then IDA waiver services. So this is something also that some of you in the room are familiar with. We offer a number of waiver services, including for the adult autism waiver in Pennsylvania, the consolidated waiver, person-family directed support waiver, and community living. And the goal is, of course, for people to be as independent as possible. So we have a number of service lines here. I won't read them all off, but you can see we have a number of services under the community consolidated waiver, the person-family directed, and also community living. So we have things such as behavior specialists. You see the job supports, the speech therapy, supported employment, CPS, that's coming soon. We're just working through the licensing pieces of that, but we're going to be building a CPS program here right in the building. And then we offer family and caregiver training and support. Under the adult autism waiver, again, you see some similar services, the speech and language, behavior specialist services. We have community support, the employment supports, and also transportation services available. Again, downstairs on your tour, you're going to see our model apartments. And we are in connection now with a number of local school districts in the county and surrounding to rent the space downstairs to practice skills. We have a whole curriculum. I don't know if some of you have picked up our brochures yet, but we have a whole brochure for the Independent Living Center that will show you each and every part of the curriculum that we'll be teaching. And that is available to you either downstairs or outside on the table there. And then we also offer training and community outreach. So we offer weekly and monthly consultation with school districts from BCBAs. We can offer in-service trainings. We have offered trainings to schools for teachers, paraprofessionals. Also, I wanted to throw in here, we also do awareness assemblies. We've done them for younger children. We've done them for high school students to teach kids how to be friends with people who have disabilities and that have autism. So that's something that we can offer as well. We offer IEP support. We have developed ESY programs. We have developed autism support classrooms and emotional support classrooms. Another thing we've done a lot during COVID is we were contacted about compensatory education. We're hearing that term more and more in these times. So we've offered support a lot with remote learning. So paras in the home going in to support the students to help them with remote learning. And then we also have a program that we offer called the Ulvaeus Bullying Prevention Program. Some of you may have heard of that. It may be implemented in your schools, but we have a nationally certified trainer. I don't know if Sharon's in the room or not, but Sharon is our nationally certified trainer, and we partner together. We implement the program. It's evidence-based. And that's something that we can partner with schools to offer pre and post testing, and then we do the classroom meetings, and we facilitate all of the training for that as well. And again, as I said earlier, we are in partnership with Westmoreland County, so we are doing the training again for the food bank next week. We're doing trainings for churches. We can do them for emergency personnel, recreation groups, if you know, like Boy and Girl Scout Troop, for example. Wherever the need is, they can contact me or Monica, who I believe is also in the room tonight. She's our Westmoreland County contact, and she's happy to facilitate the training contacts. So a little bit more about what we're going to be offering here at ATS. You'll see on your tour the sensory-friendly salon and the mock medical office. Those are down here right before our kids wing. We'll be excited to show you those. More vocational opportunities. Behind you, there is actually a kitchen that we're refurbishing where we'll offer food service training. We're very excited about that. Downstairs, you'll see our housekeeping area where we're going to be teaching housekeeping skills, maybe some skills for commercial laundry for those who want to work in a hospital or a hotel. So there are a lot of opportunities throughout this building that we're very, very excited about. Right outside, as you were walking in past the fountain, you saw a little patio. We're going to be building a sensory-friendly playground. We're very, very excited about that, so that's coming soon. And then also a school readiness program that's grounded in the principles of ABA for our early learners. We are talking with local school districts to see where, the interest lies and, how we can bring that also to ATS. I can't tell you how many times over the years that I have talked to parents who have said, my child's not ready for school, they're kicked out of daycare after daycare, nobody can support my child. We want to change that here at ATS. Someday, come on, Rick, therapeutic farms. That's something else we feel very passionate about, building a community where our learners can learn how to take care of animals, to canning, to crafting. We have a whole vision for the future. That's probably in the 5-year plan, maybe. Hopefully much sooner than that. But that's something else we feel very passionate about. And again, if you haven't seen something tonight, but you think it would be a great idea, please tell one of us during your tour. You'll probably get me or Rick, so feel free. We like it when you beat our ears. So real quick, I'm going to tell you how to make a referral to ATS. If you're new here or if you know somebody that's looking to get into services at ATS, a referral can be made by anybody. So it can be made by a family member, another provider, a prescriber, or a service coordinator. There's a confidential web form on our website that you can fill out and give us all the information that we need. So you'll fill out your demographics, you'll attach your insurance card, your written order, or your evaluation. Or you call the 1-800 number, select Consumer Services. You'll either get Susie or you'll get a member of the family support team. You might get Sydney, our other intake specialist, and then we would help walk you through those steps of the process. Another question we get all the time, does ATS have a waiting list? Well, we do have an inquiry list for those that put in a referral, but we don't call it a waiting list because we're not going to accept a case that we know that we don't have a team for. We will be very transparent with you and tell you whether or not we have a full team in place, or maybe we have the master's level position, but we don't have the bachelor's level. Might be a few weeks, and if you want to get started, you could. That's up to you as a family. But we will be very transparent with you as to what we can and can't do and try to anticipate that time frame as best we can. We review the inquiries on a weekly basis. So when a new team becomes available, we would reach out and let you know that someone would be available, and then we would see at that time if you still need a provider or if you do not. So a couple other things here. What other resources do we offer? We have a resources and download section on our website. It's for some family support, some guides, some activities on there. We have information across social media. We're on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. And we also have a closed and moderated group on Facebook. So if you're a family member, if you're not on our Facebook group, if you look in the search, the Facebook search bar, and look for Achieving True Self Private Family Support Group, you are welcome to join our group. If you are not yet with ATS, you are still welcome to join our group. Just join the group, answer the admin questions, and one of us will let you in. We have activities and gatherings for internal families, and also if you're in our closed moderated group, we will welcome you to the closed ATS events as well. Some of them we don't open to the community just so we can keep it more sensory friendly and a little quieter than something more public. We are also happy to offer other tours or meet with people in person. So if after tonight you have some more questions and you want to come back, you want to talk with us, just give us a call, schedule some time, and we're happy to sit down with you.
It has been super awesome, this evening, interacting with all of you and being able to tell you a bit about ATS and our Center for Achievement and what some of our plans are. We are definitely around to do tours. If folks have any individual questions, any member of the ATS team would be happy to answer and help or guide you to the person that can. So again, thank you all so much for coming out. Really appreciate you doing so.